Auzubillahiminash-shaytanir-rajeem. Bismillahir-rahmanir-rahim. Assalamualaikum. Ji ayanu pakhaira gale ni hao. Chune shumme washwale. Ohio gozaimas. Guten Morgen. Hola boyo. Privyet kaifa hal. Hale shuma chatore. Ahlan wa sahlan. Marhaba. Buna mucho gracias. Swabi abballi kare aya. Hoş geldin and ayo khuyamora chibatto chihajot kalimera khairutan. And a very warm welcome to everybody who's tuned into PTV World and are watching World this morning on a very sunny Friday morning over here in Islamabad. So Jummah Mubarak. With me, I'm really lucky that I've been joined by my very well-learned colleague who happens to be Miss Hajra Satti. I happen to be Shahzad Khan. We hope and pray that everybody out there is doing wonderfully well and that you're ready to kickstart your day with us. But first things first, hello Hajra, assalamu alaikum. How are you feeling today?
Walaikum assalam. Thank you so much for introducing me, and Ramadan Mubarak to you at the same time, Jummah Mubarak to you. And you know, we are really glad because this is today is going to be very special episode for us, for episode and particularly the segment for us. But obviously we will start with our news, and quickly we will move on to very interesting news, and that is that we are observing the World Glacier Day. The first ever World Day of Glaciers is being observed today to draw global attention towards the glaciers that are facing challenges from climate change. Glaciers play a crucial role in sustaining life on the earth for the future generations, and Pakistan's glaciers are called the third pole of the world because of the immense amount of the glaciers that our northern areas hold, and we need to protect them.
Exactly. Not just that, it actually happens to be the International Day of Forest as well, where the International Day of Forest is being celebrated today to raise awareness about the importance of forests and the need to preserve them. The day was proclaimed by the United Nations General Assembly in 2012 to highlight the major role forests play in food security, nutrition and livelihoods. Besides, forests also support soil fertility, protect water resources and offer habitats for biodiversity. And obviously, I think it needs to be a shared responsibility for each and every one of us to kind of make sure that we raise our voices about the concerns, climate change, deforestation, all of these things. But in addition to this, there's another important day, which is why to pay rich tribute to that day, ladies and gentlemen, I'm wearing this Allahabadi kurta today, and I've named myself Shahzad Allahabadi. And the reason being is, Hajra, please go ahead.
Right, so we are also observing the World Poetry Day. Poetry for Peace and the Unity is being themed, and it highlights the poetry's role in fostering harmony, bringing cultures and expressing deep human emotions amid the pursuit of the beauty and the thirst for a profound buzz of human emotions. Poetry is cherished as the most refined form of artistic expression that deciphers eudaimonia and sparkling infatuations of time. World Poetry Day was announced during the General Conference of United Nations in Paris in 1999. Since then, numerous soulful celebrations on March 21st have been fostering the diversity of linguistic kernel and creative spirit across the globe. Throwing light on the purpose of the day, UNESCO claims that World Poetry Day intends to give fresh recognition and impetus to national, regional, international poetry.
Exactly. And you know, with poetry, I think it's always amazing for people like me, us, you know, people who are actually invested in poetry. It actually, you do not really have to say a lot, but you know, in a couplet, you can actually share your feeling. For example, you know, I've got 2-3 today to share.
So 2-3
today to share with everybody who's out there. हमें किसी की ऊंचाई से क्या लेना? You know, with a world full of competition and competitiveness and whatnot, हमें किसी की ऊंचाई से क्या लेना? अपनी गहराई में मुकम्मल हैं आप. So that's one. Number two, moving on. Not just that, I think there's another one which is very interesting, where how I think I will take you to the realm of how people are very matlabi these days. You know, so I think this one is going to kind of set the tone. So it's more like ada matlab.
Right.
जुबान मतलब, निगाह मतलब, बयां मतलब.
Right.
अदा मतलब, निगाह मतलब, जुबान मतलब, बयां मतलब.
वाह.
बिना मतलब कहाँ जाऊं, जहाँ जाऊं, वहाँ मतलब.
वाह.
And there's one more as well.
Right.
मैंने देखे हैं मुश्किल वक्त में बदलते लोग.
वाह.
मैंने देखे हैं मुश्किल वक्त में बदलते लोग, लेकिन हर बार खुदा को साथ देते देखा है. क्या बात,
Subhanallah. I think that resonates with the spirit of Ramazan too, right? And Shahzad, since you're mentioning about the humanity, right? We are all children of Adam, right? We are Bani Adam, or Homo sapiens, if you call it from the Western parlance. And there are so many people within this planet Earth who are making sure that they are reaching out to entire and cater towards the needs of the entire Bani Adam or the children of Adam. So there's such an initiative which has been been sponsored by a group of people, and there's a hospital that is in the building stage. I think it is in the metamorphosis stage, and we are very glad to unfold this conversation and to cater towards the specific needs of the people who go through the neuropsychiatric problems or conditions. There is a hospital catering to this specific segment. We are very glad that we have been joined by a CEO of the Children of Adam. He happens to be a Shahzad SADAN. Assalamu alaikum, sir, and thank you so much for joining us. Ramadan Mubarak to you and Jummah Mubarak.
Thank you very much. Same to you.
So, sir, let's unfold this conversation. Tell us about your organization, why specifically you're catering towards the neuropsychiatric problems.
Well, let me quickly tell you a little about the organization.
Sure.
As you rightly stated, Children of Adam. So when this organization was formed about 14 years back, and way back in Long Island, US, there were 4 like-minded people. They decided, Kiji, we're going to put a name which is not, we all are children of Adam, irrespective of the religion, that somebody is Muslim or Christian or Hinduism or Buddhist. So we are children of Adam, and we are there to serve the humanity. Coming back to neuropsychiatry, when this chapter came to Pakistan, these 4 people who formed Children of Adam, as I stated 14 years back, they are from Pakistan origin, but they've been living in US. One of them is born and brought up there. And they started this organization with their own seed money of around $1 million to serve the humanity. So when we came to Pakistan, and that's where when I joined them about 4 years back, we decided that we're going to do something which is the need. And it's not that there are a lot of work being done by non-profit organizations. So Children of Adam is primarily a non-profit organization. So we did a lot of research, and we found out that one area, specific area, is very much needed, which is psychiatry, the mental illness. So this mental illness is an orphan area in Pakistan, and something needs to be done. So when I say orphan, you can imagine that in a population of 250 million, we have around 8 to 9 hospitals, and 5 of them are real big hospitals. So you can imagine, can these 5 or 9 hospitals can cater the entire need of the population? And similarly, in today's world, as I always say, that you people are young sitting
Thank
here.
you, sir.
I am including myself as well.
Mashallah.
So you see what happened, that stress everywhere is there. When you are driving, there is a stress, and stress leads to mental illness. If this mental illness is not treated, then it becomes a psychiatric mental illness in psychiatry.
Exactly.
And
but sir, in addition to this, I think that it's going to be a very important question. Now imagine that we are talking about a segment where unfortunately we have to at times label them as unfortunate people who actually come from those areas where they unfortunately cannot even afford a good livelihood, right? Now we are talking about a subject which has been tabooed and stigmatized for so long in our country that it took us, me and Hajra even, to do shows repetitively and tell people how essential your mental health is. Now imagine if it's a non-profit organization working for people, so certainly people from that segment of society will come for treatments, but only then when they will have more awareness about it. And I think that might be a challenge for you and the Children of Adam to kind of overcome, in people to understand, because imagine that the domestic staff that we have at our homes, their challenges are different. So mental health for them is not a priority. So how is your organization going to go about it in making sure that we have a deeper understanding of mental health issues within every aspect of our society?
well, I believe you have almost answered all my whatever I should have been saying. You very rightly stated that this illness, this mental part, is a taboo. It's not only in Pakistan, it's anywhere in the world. And awareness is something which really needs to be looked into. I'm very thankful to you people to invite me here. It's not because of Children of Adam, it's because what we are doing is very important, and like you mentioned that you have done a lot of programs, and this is these series of programs, or going to the universities, students' involvement, going to the people, letting them know. I just give you 2 examples, and that will answer this question. One of them is, I have a childhood friend, of course, don't go with my age, and then, but he married late, quite late, and he got a son. And whenever I used to visit him, he used to cry. That child used to cry quite a
Right.
lot. And since we were involved into psychiatry and psychology, so I just mentioned very casually, taking his name, that why don't you consult a psychiatrist and I can arrange an interview. So the guy, my friend, who was my childhood friend, became irritated and he was just not accepting it. So one part which you just mentioned, the awareness, people don't want to accept that there is a mental illness. So, and there is a treatment.
Right.
If you go today, every second or third house, there are a lot of problems.
Right.
People, old age, people are suffering with Alzheimer, dementia.
True.
Children are suffering with autism, other mental illnesses. So therefore, everything there is a treatment available, but
Yeah.
many people don't know.
True.
And we as parents, what we used to do, we always boost and talk about our children,
True.
that my daughter has done this, my
Right.
son has done that. And unfortunately, if my child is a special and he has some mental illness, I as a parent is going to hide.
True.
So if this is this trend and this part which you very rightly mentioned can only be taken care by awareness, letting people know, and this taboo, not going to the peer fakir, which is not only here in Pakistan. Jinn aa gaya.
But sir, I
Yeah.
think I would like to focus your attention on this particular segment because you're constructing your hospital in Karachi. And obviously Karachi is a very big city. It's a metropolitan city. There's so many different people from different ethnicities, different backgrounds coming there. Like Shahzad mentioned that there are a lot of people within those rural areas. I think there's also the spatial dimension of the poverty, right? Urban versus the rural areas, who might not be even aware that they are suffering through or going through these conditions and they are treatable in the first place. So why don't you focus your attention in those areas? Because I do feel that people who are living in the urban areas have more opportunities, have more mobility, have more accessibility as compared to people who are living in the rural areas. Or do you intend to expand later on in your stages?
It's a beautiful question, and I'm very happy that you questioned me this. You see, the reason the hospital is being constructed in Karachi, that very sadly the figures of Karachi alone is more than 36.4% people are suffering with mental illness alone.
Okay.
And then
Quite a lot
Sindh
of
region,
large
then
number.
Balochistan, and then Karachi geographically sitting, you have an access from the international doctors coming there. Then from all over the country people can access. But coming back to your question, which you very rightly stated, we will be having satellite clinics.
Right.
So these satellite clinics will be in a lot of other areas and villages.
That's a beautiful concept, satellite hospitals, as you like to mention, and we will develop the conversation further on it. But Shahzad, we have a very beautiful tradition within the PTV. So for a lady who has such a venerated figure, respectable figure, and because of her hard work, she has contributed a lot towards, the TV and towards the setting of the TV.
Yeah.
She is called Appa right here, right?
Yeah.
So, and we are very glad that we have been joined by one of the prestigious figures of Pakistan. She has not just made her indelible mark on the screen of the PTV, but she has produced remarkable and numerous and prestigious playwrights, dramas. Her acting is remarkable. She brings
Singing as well.
Yes,
Yeah.
a depth, a diversity to her roles. I mean, I have grown up watching her. I was a massive fan. So her series of Taake Ki Aayegi Barat series, then her performance in the 50-50,
Angan Teda,
Showtime.
Shosha, Rang Tarang. You know, she happens to be the recipient of the Pride of Performance, Sitara Imtiaz, and not just that. There's a reason that we will be in conversation with her today, and it's because of the fact that she actually just very recently got the award of Star of Pakistan honor at the UK Parliament, and the first ever female artist to actually achieve this hallmark.
Right, and she's also been awarded the Presidential Pride of the Performance Award, and we are very glad that we have been joined by a very famous Saima Chaudhary from the Faisalabad, also known as Bushra Ansari. Assalamu alaikum, Bushra ji, and thank you so much for gracing our screen.
Islam, and what a new identity I have now. I'm very happy about that, Saima Chaudhary.
Sorry, Bushra ji, such a huge honor, and you cannot imagine, the excitement that I have that, I am
Alhamdulillah.
sharing a screen with such a prestigious, such a huge figure like you. Bushra ji, so let's talk about the Urdu dramas, I mean, especially with the expat communities, and it's not just Pakistani community. So you are making such an indelible mark on them, and the kind of Urdu that you speak, I mean, my mother always says that you need to listen to her if you need to learn, how Urdu is pronounced, and you were the biggest star, I think, and it still are, alhamdulillah, when it comes to, the drama, storytelling, the dramas, and the language promotion because of the Pakistani dramas. So how did you see the transition coming from the PTV and then going towards this, private channels, and then I think the OTT is the new platform. Please share your experience.
Thank you very much for such an elaborated introduction. You guys have, I'm just looking back. Who's this? Who's you talking about? But thank you so much for, saying so much kind words for me. But I think I'll be very honest, and I must acknowledge the kind of people I uh, worked with. They actually taught me a lot of things. Even though my Urdu was always good, even though I'm a big Punjabi family, and my Punjabi is equally very good. So, but after coming to Karachi, basically, I've been so lucky to work with such good people, Talat Hussain Sahab and Qazi Wajid Sahab, and a lot of good directors. And in my childhood, I started from Lahore because I was a 9-year old when I started singing. So at that time also, when we used to sing, so there were people who just used to tell us how to pronounce a word, and then how to take a breath between the stanzas, and how to perform the music, the singing thing. So the training started when I was 9 years old. It can be, we can call it training, even though we didn't have any drama school, any singing school in our lives. But I think my journey was not just alone. There were a lot of people, and I always say that PTV has been like a big academy for all of us, and there were a lot of teachers in the form of the directors, producers, and they were ready to teach us always. They were ready to tell us how to sit, how to behave, how to use hands, and how to use words, and how to express our feelings. And then I came in drama. Then they were also in Karachi, a lot of good people, Mohsen Ali Saab, um,
And
Kazim
Amma, that's
Pasha,
exactly
and
what we wanted to kind of ask you as well, because your life, alhamdulillah, is a journey full of achieving such milestones, which has actually influenced not just women in our country, but women all over the globe. You are a global star, alhamdulillah. So may it be Pride of Performers, may it be Sitare Imtiaz, or the recent one, the Star of Pakistan honor at the UK Parliament. How do you feel about all of these accolades that you have collected for yourself and helping other women to realize what their potential can be if given the opportunity and a platform?
see, God has been very kind to me, and I always tell women, whenever I get the chance to talk to them, that not just women, everyone has so much inside you to just explore yourself. In the beginning, I never thought that I can do so much, but I started as a singer. I thought I'd be a singer just. Then I started doing comic things. I started puppeteering. So that was all part of my training. So you can find a lot of things inside you when, if you're ready to just dig out the talent. And yes, it was a big, it was a big moment when I was invited by the UK Parliament, and I was actually very happy to be there, and people were praising me, my work. So I was feeling very good, and I think there's some point that at some point I can just say that uh, it's Pakistan's prestige also with me, but I don't say that I'm doing something big for Pakistan. People are doing a lot of things, but otherwise, it's a big achievement, and it always feels good when you get some honor and you get some acknowledgement, and not in just Pakistan, outside the country. So it's a good moment.
Mashallah. And Bushra Appa, I would like to ask you, because you've done so many diverse roles, right? And recently your drama Kabhi Main Kabhi Tum was a massive hit. I think before that, one of the drama that is very close to my heart was your character of Bilki's Kaur, and it brought so much diversity to the storytelling. How do you see the transition of the storytelling? Because when we are talking about PTV's golden age of the drama, your popularity, I think, I mean, PTV drama was such a golden age that they were, I mean, crossing the skies and crossing so many borders, even in the South America, which is not a very culturally proximate society for the Pakistan. They were even popular there. But how do you feel this transition of the storytelling towards this present age, and now the OTT platforms are coming up, YouTube is coming up? How do you see this entire evolution?
Actually, PTV is not just a building. There were people who were PTV. They were brains. They were talented teachers who formed PTV as like we always, I mean, praise PTV's drama actually. So, and it started from radio, and radio started from literature. The people who were connected to literature, they started radio. Then they came from radio to television. So we had a very solid, good literary ground. So having that in our lives, I think we've been lucky that PTV's drama was like Ashfaq Sahib and Banu Mukherjee and Mustansar Tarar Sahab, a lot of other intellectuals who were actually very deep people. They were not just shallow and just writing this Saas Bahu, sorry to say. I'm not very happy with this work. But and by the passage of time, the transaction has been like Hum TV then took over, and you can just name one woman, Sultana Siddiqui. Again, she was from PTV, and she's done some good work from PTV also. And Nuruddha Shah was the writer. So when they joined, they started commercial television. So they had that little instinct always in their drama. So I just continued with them, and I could get the chance to play Udari's Shida, Bilkis Kaur, and Sita Bagdi, and these characters, but they were formed by good intellectual writers.
True.
Nowadays, I'm not very proud of this, what I'm doing, because theek hai, I'm a part of that. And I've stopped writing. I've written 11 serials on different channels, Geo and PTV and Hum Television. But now, I mean, I can say that I have not written from last 4 years because I'm a little disappointed with the trend these days. Woman is bad, mother-in-law is not good, mother is not good. So these things are so shallow now. I mean, repeating themselves. Even then our drama is watched so much, mashallah. So I think I try to be flexible with everything, but somehow inside me there is something that I'm starving for that kind of work, which I have done with PTV people, and after that with Sultana and other people also. So this is the journey, and we can't. I mean, this is I think something I can uh, I can claim that I've been a little flexible. That is why I'm coming this way for so long.
True.
I
But
can do this.
ਆਪਾਂ ਤੁਹਾਡਾ ਬਹੁਤ ਬਹੁਤ ਸ਼ੁਕਰੀਆ ਕਿ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਸਾਡੇ ਵਾਸਤੇ ਟਾਈਮ ਕੱਢਿਆ ਅੱਜ
Thank you
ਮਾਸ਼ਾਅੱਲਾ
so
ਸਾਡੇ
much.
ਨਾਲ ਇਹ ਗੁਫ਼ਤਗੂ ਕੀਤੀ ਤੇ ਅਲਹਮਦੁਲਿਲਾ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਸਾਡਾ ਫਖਰ ਹੋ ਮਾਣ ਹੋ ਸ਼ਾਨ ਹੋ ਪਾਕਿਸਤਾਨ ਦੀ ਜਿਉਂਦੇ ਰਹੋ ਹਮੇਸ਼ਾ ਸਾਡੀ ਬਲਕਿ ਨਿੱਕਿਆ ਹੋ ਕੇ ਵੀ ਦੁਆਵਾਂ ਹਲੇ ਤੱਕ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਨਾਲ ਹੀ ਨੇ ਤੇ ਇਨਸ਼ਾਅੱਲਾ ਕੀਪ ਔਨ ਪਰਫਾਰਮਿੰਗ ਐਂਡ ਡੂਇੰਗ ਵੈਲ ਬਹੁਤ ਬਹੁਤ
I
ਸ਼ੁਕਰੀਆ
love your greetings. इतनी सारी आपको आती है. Oh my God, I was so surprised, and this is something very good.
बहुत शुक्रिया आपा
Thank you
ਤੁਹਾਡਾ
so
ਬਹੁਤ
much.
ਸ਼ੁਕਰੀਆ
Thank you so much, Bushra Appa. It was such an honor having you on the screen and talking about your performance and the indelible mark that you have left, and you still keep doing on. And your performances has been so extraordinary and so exemplary in its character, the depth that you bring to a character. And I think
and
the
I
way
chose to
people
wear this kurta today the Alabadi kurta
right. And I think you were celebrating the poetry day, right?
Yes.
So now we will bring back the conversation, because we were having a very interesting conversation regarding these satellite hospitals, how they will act like, pieces where they can even move, where they have the element of the mobility. They can go towards the rural areas where they can serve the people who are underprivileged, who are not very well connected. So, sir, coming back to you, please tell us about this concept of the satellite hospitals that you were talking about.
Okay, there are two parts of it. One is the satellite clinics is that there are a lot of government hospitals.
yep
So we have gone into collaboration with the government. To give you an example, in the government of Sindh, we have taken 3 government hospitals from them. And in these 3 hospitals, we have taken a specific area where we are establishing the complete psychiatric unit.
True.
So these are in those remote areas which you are talking. Secondly is the telepsychiatry. In psychiatry is one area, and with this technology today, you can do telepsychiatry as well as through WhatsApp. You know, there we have a portal by scanning just it's in itself, the WhatsApp will be in 3 languages at present, and inshallah it will be in other regional languages as well, catering to the people who are in remote areas in their own language and understanding their requirement and their need. So these satellite hospitals, which are government hospitals, plus our own clinics are going to be established, which will be all over the Pakistan, feeding not only the one hospital. We are constructing 2 hospitals in Karachi, which I want to add you. One is in Gadap area and the other is in Kurangi.
Wow. So it's Dadu Sutto, obviously. You know, you are certainly our hero as well. And in addition to this, sir, I think that you know, we've never ever actually spoken about this very segment which I'm about to mention now. Now imagine, I did come across this program on social media where this one of amazing journalists, he was in jail and speaking to, you know, all of those people who have had mental health issues and were put behind the bars because the families couldn't control it. Now, first, obviously, how do you think that your hospital can actually reach out to all of those patients who are actually behind the bars? Number one. Number two, some of the people, you know, whether they're convicted or not, are behind the bars because their family couldn't really actually handle them while they were around, right? So do you think that your hospital will offer space for such people where they can be taken care of? And do you think that you have plans of going into jails and looking after people who are mentally challenged?
Wonderful point.
Very good point, and there are 2-3 fold of your question. One is, let me start from the last one, going to the jails and all. Yes and no, but at this stage where we are in the embryonic state, where we are ourselves trying to establish these hospitals, as I mentioned, regrettably, it's an orphan area in Pakistan. Very hardly anything has been done. Imagine the population size. If I tell you the psychiatrists in the country, which are total are 900 and practically working are about less than 350.
And probably more psychologists as well.
And so is the psychologist. And the child psychiatrists are only 2 to 4.
Right.
And that too, we are not sure that whether they are here in Pakistan or not, because these figures are quite old. These are earlier done by WHO and United Nations. Secondly, yes, what we are doing is in the hospital, it's not only medical care, and that's probably your question was leading. It's the human resource. You need to develop people. You can have buildings, you can have state-of-the-art equipment, but if you don't have the right people, so the training part, the R&D part and the human resource development part is one specific area where Children of Adam Hospital, which is called Bani Adam Neuropsychiatric Hospitals, are going to be focusing in. So when these trained people are going to be approaching the media, and then you are developing ambassadors, that's where things will work out.
And thank you so much, sir, for saying that as well. But one last question, and that is that, you know, when you move all over the globe, alhamdulillah, you're trotting the globe, you come across a lot of people. So alhamdulillah, one of my brother-in-law happens to be the HOD in a UK-based NHS hospital. And I was having this conversation with him where he said that a lot of psychiatrists even today in Pakistan might not even know the right fix for the people. And unfortunately, you know, that lack of experience kind of can take you to a journey which can be more horrendous than the one that person is suffering from already. So how do you think that those checks and balances will be put in place within your own hospitals as well, and that those amazing people, you know, who actually know how to deal with people with mental illnesses can actually help other people?
No, very rightly pointed out. You see, what we are going to do is that in this hospital there is
हम सुलाने की दवाई दे देते हैं बस. हम mental illnesses में ना ये पाकिस्तान में बड़ा common है. Sorry, I have to say this.
So there is an exchange program. Doctors will be coming from abroad, and we already have signed 2 MOUs with the 2 leading psychiatric hospitals in US.
Wow.
So these doctors will be coming, living in-house. We will be having a residential block in the hospitals concerning the security, etc. issues. Secondly, these hospitals are going to be internationally recognized and given the status.
Wow.
So it's not that we are going to be, yes, it is a completely, by the way, this is all treatment is completely free.
Yeah.
Completely free. So there are going to be very quickly, I understand the paucity of time, there are going to be 8 blocks, adult and geriatrics. So covering that part,
Yep.
child and adolescent, drug rehabilitation, autism, and this will be the unique hospital which will be treating autism separately and will be having an autism school as well within the hospital.
Wonderful, wonderful.
Fifth is the research and development. Sixth is the clinical trial unit, and seventh is the residential block.
Right, and this is such a wonderful idea. Thank you so much, sir, for working on this wonderful conception and bringing out this such sort of service to the humanity and to the people of Pakistan. Once again, thank you so much for coming on our show, for shedding light, and we hope and pray and wish you all the best of the luck in your endeavors. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala put more barakah in your risk, in your efforts.
And probably
in your
relationship therapy as well.
Yes. So now we will move on to another very interesting news, and that deals with that how Ottoman mosque architecture had holes in it, and that served to feed the cats and birds with the water.
Wow.
The mosques built during the Ottoman period were known for their beautiful architecture and splendor, but they also had the unique feature holes on the premises which serve as a feeding ground for the cats and birds. A recent video on the Instagram shows bird feeding and bathing in the water holes, which highlighted the Islamic principles of showing compassion to all living beings. The video also serves as a lesson to all and explains what Islam is all about. One can take the inspiration and set up such feeding spots for birds and animals in our home, offices and public spaces.
Wow, I mean, it's great. And, you know, for
Beautiful.
everybody who's out there, since it's going to be summertime as well, please make sure that you do this generous act as well. And in addition to this, I think where we've been speaking about Ramadan around the globe as well, today we're actually going to take you to New Zealand, where their Prime Minister actually is not just celebrating but observing Ramadan alongside the Muslim community within New Zealand. We've got a message from him. Let's go, let's take a good listen.
Let's see what Kiwi Muslims have to say.
As we welcome the holy month of Ramadan, I want to extend our government's heartfelt greetings and best wishes to the Muslim community here in New Zealand. Ramadan is not just a month of fasting, it is a month of spiritual rejuvenation, and our Muslim Kiwis will join more than 2 billion Muslims all around the world in a period of reflection, devotion, charity and worship. And through fasting and prayers and acts of charity, we're reminded of the values of empathy, humility and resilience. These values strengthen our families, they strengthen our neighbourhoods, our communities and our country, and especially during challenging times that we see all around the world.
Assalamu alaikum. Our Muslim Kiwi community plays an integral role in our nation's fabric in lots of various ways. Your contributions socially, culturally and economically are integral to our nation and are deeply valued. You make New Zealand
Right, and when it comes to Ramzan around the globe, today we are taking you to Morocco and see how they are celebrating the Ramadan and the streetscaping there. Right, and moving on to our kitchen cooking conundrum, aaj kya pakaun? So to resolve this crisis, we have selected a recipe of creamy chicken sandwiches by Yum Gram by Farhana. Let's go and let's take a look.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, you can cook whatever good meals that you want to cook, but if the table's not set up properly, you might not probably enjoy it that way as well. So we are going to share tablescaping with you, but this obviously comes from Kamal Farhan. But I think before we actually move on to that, Hajra, you're always very invested into tablescaping and decorations and whatnot, and you've gone to such a school as well, right? So how do you feel about tablescaping? Wow, I mean, it looks good. So yeah, Hajra, please go on. Let me know.
Right. I think खाना तो मुझे पकाना आता नहीं है. मैंने कहा अच्छा ही सजा लूँ तो ये तो काम चल जाएगा. But you know, I'm always interested because my mom has a very good aesthetic sense and she has instilled that, and I do feel that, you know, whatever your mom is teaching, it comes down to the daughters. You know, even smaller things such as, you know, selection of the oil, whatever your mom is doing, unconsciously, consciously, it trickles down to the daughters. So, you know, that is why I'm really interested in this segment because it brings a lot of interest of mine.
मेरी बहनों तक जो अम्मी से आया ना, वो तो यही है कि बच्चों को मारना कैसे. So I think it wasn't safai or probably, you know, how to get children to kind of do the thing that their mother is actually asking them to do.
I know, I think you are just, you know, doing that in a lighter jest, but I've seen your sisters, alhamdulillah, and they're really doing great in their own professions. But now we will move on to another very interesting segment, and that is in Ramadan, how do we do the digital detox? And digital detox is a concept that is talked about a lot because of our excessive perseverance over the screen, our excessive being glued towards the screen. So in order to develop this conversation, we have been joined by the resident physician. He happens to be Zainul Abidin. Assalamu alaikum, Zainul Abidin, and thank you so much for joining us.
Walaikum assalam. It's always a wonderful phenomenon, wonderful opportunity to have you guys with me.
So Zainab, to get started, to get started with you, first of all, what did you do today when you woke up early in the morning? Did you check your phone, the first thing?
Unfortunately, yes, I did. Actually,
So
I posted a social media post yesterday overnight, and then I woke up in the morning. I was just looking up how many likes did I receive, or how much did I performed in the previous social media post.
Yeah, so how do we get rid of this as well? Because, you know, when we are on our social media to look at how many people have liked our post, how many people have commented, how many people have shared, I think there's this self gratification that we give to ourselves कि हाँ यार बहुत अच्छा चल रहा है, बड़ी दुनिया मुझे देख रही है. How do we get rid of this feeling? I mean, and it gets you anxious as well.
It does not only give you the anxiety, but it's we have to understand the mechanism behind that. It's a dopamine system in our brain that is also called the reward system. What happens in our brain is, like, whenever we are thinking about a few things which are temporary, you can consider example of the social media. They're going to give you a dopamine satisfaction once you're going to utilize. So now when you are craving for that specific dopamine, now you're going to go back and inculcate all those lifestyle things in your life back. So you are going to use the social media. You're going to post on WhatsApp. You are going to post on social media like Instagram, TikTok. And I think the best way to detox is to just start. I would not say to just get rid of everything. Take a small step for once. For example, I think there's a phenomena of don't miss out what you have around you, because social media is extremely unsocial, and that's also one of the phenomena which we have to believe. I think we should take like one step at a time, like 15 to 20 minutes. And a lot of people, when we ask from them, like, how do you have time to pray, or do you have time to do this stuff? And what most of the time I hear is like, we don't get time. But when I ask them, what's your screen time? Can you show me your screen time? And it happens to be an average of like 6 to 8 hours for average person. My question is, if you are having 6 to 8 hours, then why don't you get enough time for doing some other tasks? So I think what we can do is break our life into small segments. Like whatever we do, we can do some digital fasting, digital detoxification. For example, like 15 to 20 minutes, we can just stop doing whatever we are doing on the social media in terms of WhatsApp. I know it's a lot of pressure for this young generation who are working from home, or also who are working on, especially on the digital devices. But still, I think it's possible to take a step one step at a time.
Right, and then we've seen there's this movement getting a lot of traction within the UK in which they want to have screen-free childhood, for especially because of there's a concept called edtech, right? How technology is incorporated into the education system and how the kids, they are being taught artificial intelligence, or I mean their educational activities somehow integrated with the technology. Do you agree with this assertion, with this notion that, you know, technology, children should not have access to technology at such a younger age, because we do see that there is you know, such a rise of mental illnesses and all of these neurodiverse conditions like autism, etc. But on the other hand, there's also the very staggering fact and very unfortunate fact, I would like to put it in my words, is that social media is a part and parcel of our life. It's a social fabric. You know, we cannot live without that. So how do we learn to live with that?
Well, I think, Hajra, I think a phenomenal question. So what I believe is there has to be a balance. And I'm very much thankful to the government and the laws, the policies, especially in the US. I'm more aware of the US system now. And most of the states, they have devised multiple laws. Like even when I'm using my social media, I start getting the notification, oh, your this digital window of the whole day has been up. Now please stop using the social media. And that's not because Instagram or Facebook want to do that, because obviously they're the business people and they really want people to get addicted to their platforms, but it's the more governmental policies which keep check and balance on the behavior of these tech companies. So I think it's one of the great initiatives by the government and also all the states to introduce such laws.
There. So with that, we are winding up our program. Until next time, it's a goodbye, Allah Hafiz, and Ramazan Mubarak.
Please make sure that you write to us at worldthismorning@ptv.com.pk. Until next time, look after yourselves. 1, 2, 3. Good morning. Have a great day. Ramazan Mubarak.
Ramazan.